I mean, this is game 7 of the NBA Finals. Everybody got pressure. Everybody want to win. But all the pressure in this
Right.
game is on OKC. You at
Big
home.
time.
You've had the best record all year. And it all comes down to one game. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Draymond Green Show. We got BD back in the building. What's up, my dog?
What's happening? What's up, my guy? What's going on, man?
Excuse me. I got ahead of myself. Welcome back to the Draymond Green Show with Baron Davis. I got excited. We got BD back in the building. Now,
My dog.
excited to
My
back in the
dog.
building.
Yeah. All around the world. What's happening? What's happening, man?
Just chilling, bro. Just chilling. You know, the best 2 words in sports. But we'll get into that, man. We would definitely get into that. Before we get into that, what was the coldest moment from Game 6 for you?
The dunk, the Pascal dunk. That was sick.
Or
Haliburton with the no look. Pascal, I don't know who he dunked on. Jalen Williams. Yikes, he dunked on him so cold.
He almost broke his back.
Hey, he almost broke him down. That was it. That was a backbreaker.
I don't know if JJ Dell can bounce back from that in Game 7. God,
man, you can't keep falling like that. That's the second time you done fell like that.
I love that he tried to go to the rim and get it, but yeah.
No, you gotta respect it.
His footwork.
It's a championship.
His footwork was incredible too. You know what the play reminded me of? He just wasn't able to get the block. But the play actually reminded me of when I ran out to Dame and he threw it to Noah Vonleh, and I took that same angle back to the rim and I pinned Noah Vonleh. You know, that was a huge play in that series. But it reminded me of that play. It looked like the same thing. He took the exact route. The ending of it just was a little bit.
Just got punched on. That's what happened. I mean, that was just a great play. Indiana was rocking, rolling. Pacers forced a Game 7, incredible fashion. What do each team have to take away for their chance to win? Like, what are the Pacers feeling now that they blew them out? What is OKC feeling like now that they got blown out and it looked like, oh, the Pacers may have figured them out?
You know, I think the Pacers, you going in confident like, yo, we know what we got. I think if you're OKC, you may be shook, especially, again, they've never been here. It's one thing if you've been there before. But if you OKC, you a little shaken by it. And if I'm the Pacers, I'm coming out like, yo, I know they're a little shaken by what just happened. We got to come out fire. We got to come out pouncing. We need one of those Pascal Siakam 14-point first quarters. Like, we need Hallie to come out firing. Like, we got to come out and pounce. If you're the Pacers now, in saying all of that, as much as that could be the case, Game 7, all that other stuff go out the window. And
right.
It goes out the window from a standpoint of like, they beat us here, we beat them there. Y'all both tied at 3-3. The record go out the window. This is a 1-game series. What you could face, though, is Game 7. Guys get a little tight. I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? I played Houston. They saw them miss 27 threes in a row. They didn't miss 27 threes in a row. Like, our defense was great and our game plan was working. Some of them threes was open, but they had tightened up. You know what I'm saying? And we knew they was going to tighten up. And we planned on them tighten up. We couldn't foresee them missing 27 threes in a row, but we knew that they was going to tighten up. And so going into this game, I think all the pressure, I mean, this is Game 7 of the NBA Finals. Everybody got pressure. Everybody want to win. But all the pressure in this game is on OKC. You at home. You've had the best record all year, and it all comes down to one game. And what can you do to win this one game? But y'all supposed to win the game. You see what I'm saying? Like, Indiana not supposed to
win that game.
Game 7 on the road against the team that won 68 games, was the number 1 team. They not supposed to win. But the problem with going to Game 7 is the Cleveland Cavaliers was down 3-1 and not supposed to win, facing a team that won 60, 73 games. And it's a coin flip. All it takes is one Kyrie Irving shot to flip the game, one LeBron James chase down block, which still hunt me to this
To
day.
change the whole
To
shit.
change the whole game. And so that's what OKC is up against. It's like all it takes is a couple plays to change this whole thing, but they are supposed to win. So pressure is all on them. And OKC, I mean, Indiana coming out with a free swing, and they coming out playing loose. Like, we ain't got nothing to lose. We were never supposed to be here in the first place. We ain't got nothing to lose. It's game 7. Let's go out swinging. And so I think this, like, I want to see what OKC going to do. Because I'll tell you this, BD. If OKC don't win this championship Sunday, they may never win the championship.
All right, so look, I was having a conversation, and I won't say his name, but a good buddy, team exec, he was like, if OKC don't win this, they'll get one over the next 3 years. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that? At the rate the league is going, like, it's a new champion. It's going to be a new champion every year for the last, 5-7 years?
I don't think so, and here's why. I think they get in a tough position if they don't win a championship. And because when you get the opportunity to win a championship, if you win it, you give yourself the opportunity to win more. But if you lose it, now you start tweaking stuff to like, we need to do this, we need to do that. And those tweaks could put you further away from where you were. And now let's talk the money. The money, Shai about to sign for $80 a year. J-Dub about to get paid. He ain't going to be on no rookie contract no more. Chet about to get paid. He ain't going to be on no rookie contract no more. So the way the CBA works, just off sheer numbers, you lose the likes of the Lou Dorts. You lose the likes of the Alex Caruso's. You lose the likes of the Isaiah Hardensteins, because right now you can have those guys making the money they make because you got 2 guys on rookie contracts that's two of your top 3 players. It's the same thing that happened with us in Golden State. Steph signed for $11 million a year because he's coming off the ankle injuries, allows us to pay Andre Iguodala and Bogut and D. Lee.
Yep.
Meanwhile, me and Clay on rookie deals. Clay making $3 million. I'm making $800,000. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's fine.
That's how you feel your team.
And guess what?
That's how you feel your team.
We won in that window, which then extended it because we won in that window. And so I think this is their chance.
And the tweaks were not major; they were minor to upgrade and sustain the run. I got it. OKC, I say the same thing. You have so much talent over there, and you're going to run out of money, right? Because you have to pay your top 3 dogs. How do you, and if they, obviously Shai is dominant. We see what J-Dub is doing. You know, the other one was, okay, how dominant is Chet, and how much of a unicorn is Chet going to be to be that third person taking up the third lion's share of that capital to make it hard to fill out the pieces that you need that are ultimate complementary stars. I would say I call all these young dudes stars. That round out your team, right? So how do you, if you don't win, how do you move forward?
You start looking at
without tweaking.
You start looking at those pieces like, it wasn't quite good enough. Tax bills start to creep up. Oh man, we got a tax bill. You know what I'm saying? And then you also, here's another part of it though, BD. You also then get the likes of the media questioning, can y'all 3 do it together? You get the likes of the media saying, Shai need to get a ball to J-Dub more. You get the likes of the media like, Mark Dadno was the coach that can get them there, but he ain't the coach to get them over the hump. Now you fighting all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
You got to fight narratives.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to fight those narratives. And they've been a great team, right? I know we talked about them earlier in the year about, man, we ain't never seen nothing like that. It's kind of didn't feel right, but that's how they operate, right? They still doing the interviews together. They still doing the post game. They are a unified team. So when you start tweaking that camaraderie and you start tweaking them pieces, some of those are emotional pieces, right? Some of those are needs. Superstars need certain people and they look at certain people on the bench, right? Like there's connective tissue that maybe a GM may not see that thinks that a better player is an upgrade from someone that's probably equally as talented, but is willing to sit, right? So
that's a fact.
It's do or die for what you're saying is it's do or die for OKC.
Their best chances right now. Think about Boston, BD. Boston had a chance to win a championship. It didn't work out. They got rid of Marcus Smart.
Yep.
Right. They kind of had threw in the wave the white flag, like it ain't working. We got to keep our two guys, but we ain't about to win a championship. And then what happens? Milwaukee trades for Dame Lillard, sends Drew Holiday to Portland. If you remember, Boston ain't have a point guard going into the season. I mean, going in that offseason. But they trade Drew Holiday to a place that he don't want to be, that's just trying to get picks. And boom, they fall into Drew Holiday and they rejuvenated them. They retweet and then they get Porzingis and they work out, right? And so, but they had kind of they knew like, oh, we ain't do it. That's it. And then they kind of lucked up into this situation. It's like, oh, now we can, you know what I'm saying? And so that's where OKC at. Like they gotta win it right now. If not,
they gotta win it right now.
It's way tougher to win next year.
Way tougher.
Because also check this out, BD.
People are healthy.
Yes.
People are healthy. It's a different story. It's a way different story. People are healthy. You know, everybody got a fresh start, and you don't know who been putting that work in that's gonna take somebody over the hump.
Let's take it a step further, bro. Check this. They won 68 games this year, right? They were the unbeatable team in the league, right? Team's gonna start building to beat y'all next year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So even if they don't win it, team's gonna be building to beat them because they were so dominant during the regular season.
Now so what are you chasing now? Because you can't go into the regular season. I used to say that about Milwaukee, man. People, when Milwaukee was always in first place, beating the shit out of people, I was like, man, Milwaukee is not gonna win the title because they're never in any close games. I said, in order for Milwaukee to win a championship, they got to be in 4th, 5th place. So they struggle. They need to know what struggle look like. And then lo and behold, what are they? The 4th, 5th seed. They win the NBA Finals. It's gonna be hard for OKC. Because now, what are you chasing a record? You fighting and fighting for first place? Because I need home court advantage. I need home court advantage. So the whole season is going to be different than it was this year.
Yeah.
Because every team is going to get better. Every team is going to get better for you. And other people want that number one spot. The Warriors want it. Memphis think they deserve it. Denver want it back. Now you got people like, they know the value of home court advantage. Houston, they going to be back. Everybody gunning. Everybody is gunning for home. The Lakers, maybe. Clippers. People know that this playoffs has proven that home court advantage is key and clutch. And in order to be a championship team, which both of the teams are, you got to be able to win on the road, but you got to be that home got to be, hey, we not losing at home.
I agree.
And it's going to be hard for them.
1,000%.
Indiana, on the other end, what do you think about them?
I think they free rolling. Like they playing with house money. They was never supposed to be here. Like, and they coming out.
Right.
and if I'm Indiana, I'm coming out. I'm playing so loose. And I'm gonna tell you this. If I'm Indiana, I'm coming out. I'm doing all I can to take J-Dub out the game because J-Dub, I think if they can take him out the game, he the key to that team. Shai gonna do what he do. And you take the second option away. That's what you have to do in order to win a championship.
The NBA Finals are here, and every play could be the one that changes everything. This is the NBA Playoffs, where heroes rise, legacies are built, and the action never lets up. And with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, you don't just watch the madness, you live it. Back your favorite team. Ride with your clutch time killer. Bet on the buzzer beaters, the breakout performances, the game-winning threes. From player props to same-game parlays, this is how you take your fandom to the next level. If you're new to the game, no sweat. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll score $300 in bonus bets. It's that easy. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code Baron. That's code Baron for new customers to get $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. When you bet just $5, only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Did you see Scottie's quote or Scottie when he was talking about J-Dub in the comparison?
No.
So Scottie made a comparison. Scottie said he is pretty special. I'm enjoying watching him. I see a lot of me in him for sure. I see a guy rising to be one of the top players in this league. He's a player capable of leading that franchise to multiple championships. Him and Shai, of course. And so my question is, does J-Dub remind you of Scottie? And, Scottie got his thing against Mike. So did Scottie put J-Dub name before Shai and slide Shai in? Is that still Scottie sliding Mike a little bit?
I mean, damn.
Like, and of course Shai.
You know what I feel like it is? Like, Scottie Pippen want people to talk about Scottie Pippen like people talk about Mike. You know what I mean? So, and we need to talk about Scottie Pippen more, about Scottie Pippen. How cold Scottie Pippen is without Mike, right? We know he had Mike. That's cool. But Scottie Pippen, cold.
For sure.
Right?
Of course.
One of the coldest.
Absolutely.
Top 50, top 25. When you start thinking about it. Game. A whole new Scottie Pippen is the mold.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He is the mold. He is the mold that you can see in developing a youth player. 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". Versatility.
Mm-hmm.
J-Dub, I think, is a Scottie Pippen. I think he's of that mode. Right? Mm-hmm. And he's every generation you get to redefine or evolve, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who was like a mold of you, right? A one of one, but it's like, man, that was kind of like my sense, like that was my sensei. That dude got a black belt fighting like this. My style, my black belt style is like this. That's kind of like J-Dub with Scottie Pippen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Little Scottie Pippen, more Scottie Pippen than anybody else. Not a Grant Hill, not in that mode. It's like when you look at the mode of what Scottie do, what J-Dub do on the defensive end, mm-hmm. how hard he play, right? What he can do offensively, where you may get him fucked up and think he can't score or mm-hmm. can't make plays. Like, he is the one. Like you just said it. He is the one. And it's up to him to be able to like be his own Scottie Pippen, right? Scottie Pippen was Scottie Pippen coming to the game, right? On the board, you playing against the Bulls, on the little chart and on the board, the coach write Michael Jordan, whatever he write, mm-hmm. and Scottie Pippen.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to spend 20 on Jordan. We're going to spend 20 on Pippen,
mm-hmm.
right? Because Pippen going to disrupt everything you got going. And so I think I think J-Dub needs to be his man. You need to go build the name like Scottie Pippen built the name, rocking with Jordan, right? And then you got to be your own mode, your own one-on-one. Because I mean, Scottie Pippen, one of the coldest to ever do it, bro. Let's call a fact a fact. And J-Dub, to your point, he is the one that's going to be the linchpin, right? And the glue and the person to get them over the hump when you watch the Bulls and when they beat the Lakers, right? Scottie Pippen on Magic Johnson. I watched that game. That disrupted the whole game, right? When you watch the Bulls, when they played against Utah, right? Scottie Pippen making big shots, right? Doing the same thing. You may only see the Jordan highlights, but don't forget there's somebody in that game disrupting the entire flow of the game, and you have to pay attention to. That's Scottie Pippen.
No, I agree. I think obviously Scottie's greatness is not to be debated. Yeah.
But he is kind of like throwing, the mic thing to them.
He doing that for sure. He doing that. I think doing that dumbs down how great he is, though. Because it almost make you get compared to Mike, which like, come on, we can't really compare Scottie to Mike.
Sometimes our ego don't let us articulate, and we gotta articulate how unmatchable that dynamic was.
But I think also BD, I think Scottie's tailspin has really been since the documentary. His tailspin has really been like that documentary came out and he kind of been tailspinning since. So I try to always have some compassion. And when I take a step back and I look at it, I may feel a way too after the documentary if it was like that, and I know I had the impact I had. It would suck if Steph sat down and I feel like I didn't get the credit that I deserve. You know what I'm saying? Now, although on the flip side, in the documentary, Mike talk about Scottie and how, great Scottie was.
Mike always about how great Scottie. He don't never say nothing without Scottie. Me and Scottie.
For sure.
Me and Scottie.
But the documentary was MJ heavy, but it's MJ. Like a Warriors documentary, as much impact as I had, Clay had, a Warriors documentary gonna be heavy Steph Curry. Like, that's just what it is. So, I don't know, man. I still be wishing well for Scottie, man.
Yeah, let's say this. Michael Jordan is the son. You know what I'm saying? We wake up as a hooper, you waking up to Michael Jordan. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, and that's it, right? So, Scottie, you a moon. You a son too. Like, but Michael Jordan, you waking up in basketball. So the documentary gonna be about the most charismatic,
Mike's larger than life
on court back, and like, yeah, they following Mike. They following Mike, man. Just don't let the celebrity like tell your side of the story, homie. That's it. Because your shit is just compelling, and it may be even better because we get a broader perspective. We get more people involved. But that's just power of media, and that's what you were saying about OKC. Like, the media can separate Shai and J-Dub, right?
Yes, they can.
But it's up to Shai and J-Dub to do what Mike and Scottie did. You got to go win. You got to do what Steph and Clay and Dre did. You got to go do what Kobe and Shaq had the most drama, all the drama, all the time.
Yes, they did. But they won.
But they won. They figured it out, and they say, yo, I know I got Shaq and Shaq got 20 minutes, they going to go over a review of every which way to guard Shaq. They ain't going to go over 20 minutes every which way to guard me. Everybody else going to get 2 minutes.
Yep. That's a fact. If that.
Yeah, if you can get 5-6 minutes in somebody's scouting report, you a cold piece of work.
Absolutely. We always on national TV because we're a great team and we've had the success. But make no mistake about it. We're always on national TV because Steph Curry's on our fucking team. And so people be like, yo, y'all schedule is crazy. Like, y'all travel crazy. And what I try to tell people is, well, the NBA schedule is built off the national TV game. Every year we have the most national TV games. And so our schedule is crazy. And you know what I say to people? You know, Buddy Hield and those guys, right? Like, they come in, they ain't never really been on no team that played national TV games like that. And Buddy's like, man, y'all schedule crazy. And I'm saying, Buddy, it's the Steph Curry effect, brother. You're going to be on national TV all the time, which in turn makes that schedule a little crazy. That is the luck, pleasure of playing with Steph Curry. And so, to your point, the camera going to follow Mike. Get in where you fit in, use it to your benefit, where you can use it to your benefit, ultimately knowing, of course. And that's just that.
Of course. Like, come on, man.
That's just that.
All right, you played in the Game 7 at home. What are your thoughts to if you're OKC? Like, what is your mindset going into a Game 7? And then what was your experience before Game 7 against the Cavs? Like, what were you going? Like, what was your energy coming out of Game 6 going into Game 7? And then, you know, what is being at home on a Game 7 feel like?
I think the only Game 7 of my career I played at home was 2016, NBA Finals Game 7. And what I'll tell you is the home court don't mean anything. Because if you can get the crowd involved, great. But you know how loud Oracle was when Kyrie Irving hit that shot?
It was super loud.
Like,
you know how quiet it was after he hit that shot?
The home court don't mean anything because, again, this is a one-game series. So one guy, this March Madness, this is single elimination. One guy can get hot and go berserk, and that's just that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't think Game 7 mean anything. So to that point, if I'm OKC, I'm coming into this game and I'm like, yo, fellas, if they hit first, like we got to come out swinging, but we may get punched first. We just got to stay the course. Play our game. Don't panic. Stay the course. No matter who hit first, we have to stay the course. Because if not, it can get the better of them. And again, the emotions are just different. They're supposed to win. So that's what I'm saying. For me, going into Game 7 against the Cavs at home, I'm like, yo, I was suspended for Game 5. We really had no chance at winning Game 6. Game 7, I gotta come out. I gotta go crazy because we gotta win. Like, and so that was my mindset. That's why I came out firing the way I did. Then you see a couple go through. You like, oh man, like let's go. And so I felt like I needed to play great.
It's that desperation.
Absolutely.
It's that desperation. Being at home, it's like you have a little bit of more of a desperation to be up when the clock run out.
1,000%.
Right. And then being on the road, you're more like the hunter. So you're just trying to get kills in moments where, all right, they up 6, let's get it to 2. You know, they're up 8, let's get it to 4. Like you looking at smaller kills, whereas the home team is like, man, we got to grind it. Like, think about all the great game 7s, even the Lakers, Celtics, when Ron was talking about hitting that shot. Like that game was like, man, whoever hit the next bucket is probably going to win. Right?
We didn't score for 4 minutes, BD. No team scored for 4 minutes.
I know. It get tight. And and it get tight not because you can't score, because your level, it looks like the level of desperation goes into this superpower of like, dude, whatever energy I got left from the whole season, I'm about to give it all in this last 6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody is everybody is really focused on getting a stop. You've never seen something so beautiful in basketball than a game 7 when both teams going back and forth and can't score. It's like, that's the drama, right? That's the drama, because the next bucket could be the bucket, like a 3-pointer could break your back, right? Free throws could break your back.
Yes, it can.
So it's,
listen.
Yeah, I'm glad you was there.
And
Yeah, I'm glad you was.
And one bucket can change everything. If Andre make that layup,
Oh, it's
changes
over.
everything. You know, so that was my mindset. That's how I'm rolling. You know, so I want to see the Pacers come out. I think Rick Carlisle has not showed everything. And I think the Pacers win this game by Rick Carlisle coming out and out-coaching Mark Daigneault. This is the biggest game in Mark Daigneault's coaching career. This is his first time playing in a game of this magnitude. Rick Carlisle coached the team to a championship. And I think if I'm Rick Carlisle game plan need to be so crazy in order for the Pacers team to come out and win. And I think that's their upper hand. Is Rick been there? And I think Rick got something in his back pocket. And if I'm Rick, here's my game plan. OKC at times struggle to score. I think we all can agree on that. Every time J-Dub come off a pick and roll, I'm all out blitzing him. You're not getting downhill. You're not finishing at the rim. You're not getting comfortable. I'm an all-out blitz on him every time he come off a pick and roll. He also not accustomed to getting blitzed. So you can throw something at him for game 7 that they don't really have much time to adjust to. You can throw something at him that he ain't seen, and he got to try to adjust to that in the biggest game of his life with all the money on the line. I'm guarding Shai one-on-one with Andrew Nembhard, and I'm telling Nembhard, don't play in front of him. Play on the side of him. If you play on the side of him, he can't get the step back like that to create all the separation. If you sit in front of him, he going to drive you down, he going to step back, and he going to create this much space, and he's shooting the wide open. So we not helping. We not in the gaps on Shai either. You are just guarding him one-on-one. If he give you 50, if he give you 40, and you guarding him one-on-one, fine. Reason being, I'm staying home on Lou Dort.
No assist.
I'm staying home on Aaron Wiggins. I'm staying home on Isaiah Joe. I'm staying home on Alex Caruso. Because I think these guys, if they start hitting threes and they at home so they could get the feeling good, Shai getting his 35 anyway. And if you got J-Dub getting off and you got, it's too much. So I'm staying at home on all of those guys. Shai go for 50, beat us with your 50. We not letting these guys get nothing. Because if Caruso gets 16, Lou Dort get 12 to 14, Wiggins get 12 to 14, they stand no chance at winning. So my game plan is we're not overreacting to Shai driving them hard. You're going to force them to drive. And at the rim, the big need to rotate over late and just get a contest at the rim. Oftentimes when that big come over and Shai gets it all the way to the rim, he fall down. And now I'm Indiana. I want my advanced pass. If I'm Rick Carlisle, I'm telling Haliburton, which he does, but I'm telling him make it a point. Advance the ball to Pascal out ahead every time. Pascal can then get to the paint. He penetrates the defense and get to the paint. He's the only player on their team that can draw a double team. And he even do it in transition where he get to the paint, he get to the middle of the rim, get to the middle of the lane, front of the rim, and everybody come down. That's what I think they have to do. And let Pascal create that double team and then kick it out. And they offense flow from there. You know what I'm saying? But you also when they don't come down to double team, that's how Pascal get the 14 to 16 points in the first quarters. You know what I'm saying? And so that's my game plan in a nutshell if I'm Indiana. That's what I'm doing. That's how I'm coming in and getting this win. That's what need to be the focus, in my opinion.
That's great coaching.
So we'll see.
Yeah, it's and then if you OKC, then it's pack the paint, make them get 3-point happy. Don't let Indiana get points in the paint, because that's kind of how they've been beating you. That's how they've been staying in games. That's how they've been getting back in games. Make them 3-point happy. Make them jump shooters. Don't let TJ McConnell probe, right? No more probing. No more probing. I'm staying in the lane. I'm making them kick out. And then as soon as I close out, if they don't shoot the three and I close out, I'm in mad. Because you see they get paralyzed if their offense is not in flow and they ought to play one-on-one basketball. So you start making every player a one-on-one player, but not an offensive playmaker, because they want to draw and kick, get to the elbow, kick out. I don't have nothing, kick out, and they move well. So just stay tight, give them the three, contest, and then if they don't shoot the three, one-on-one, because Miles Turner just sitting at the 3-point line, and I got to live with that today.
Yeah, and
I'm going to have to live with that on Game 7 on the road, right? Like you saying, it's tight. Man, go get 40 hitting 7 threes.
T. Lou did it to me. We was at home. We still lost.
Yeah.
So,
because after a while, like, it's a volume thing at that point.
For sure.
Yeah, but that was a great take, man. Come on, Rick Carlisle, the Yoda, the Mr. Miyagi,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Versus Danielson. This is the oldest NBA coach, right? Versus one of the youngest NBA coaches. And it's going to be a battle of the minds. So that's great analysis, my bro.
Appreciate
great
it,
analysis.
May the best man win. Ice Cube's Big Three League is back on Vice TV, and the June 29th matchups bring the heat. Detroit Amplifiers, coached by Hall of Famer George Gervin, face off against Dallas Power, featuring Glenn Rice Jr., Royce White, and under the leadership of Hall of Famer Nancy Lieberman.
Meanwhile, the Chicago Triplets, a consistent powerhouse, take on the DMV Trilogy, led by Earl Clark and Isaiah Briscoe, with Steven Jackson at the helm. These games are loaded with former pros and serious competitors. This is where real basketball lives.
Catch Big Three live Saturday, June 29th at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Vice TV. Channel finder is at vicetv.com. So who you taking to win it, BD?
All right, this is what I'm saying. If Indiana is anywhere down 6 with 6 minutes to go, I'm taking Indiana. I just think the basketball gods may favor history. Indiana has been at it longer. The story, the underdog. This reminds me of the year Golden State won the championship. There's always Seattle. There's always those underdog teams that the Warriors' first title, right? There was these underdog type of storylines that happened in the league. So,
yep. I mean, some of the shots they hit this playoffs does seem like they have destiny on their side. So,
man, like the Angels in the outfield, right?
It does feel like they have destiny on their side. So we shall see. Move around this league a little bit. We got to start one of the biggest stories of the week. Bron recently said ring culture has hurt the game. It's basically that judging greatness only by championships disrespect legends like Iverson and Barkley. Do you agree with that?
I definitely agree with him. I think that, our narrative and our stories have been in the hands of, media or reporters, and it's like their opinion, right? And not to disrespect, them in the game because they play a big part of the game, but the stories should be told from the players themselves, right? The perspective of who they are and what we mean. And so when you think about ring culture, it's becoming, something that's kind of like corporatizing or stelling the conversation about really what this game is about. It's, you as a kid play basketball to fit in on a team, right? And develop a game and a style that ultimately evolves into, you know, Draymond Green, Hall of Fame, right? So your accolades is one thing, but it's more so like your story, your journey, right? What you did, how you get there, how you overcame, right? And so as overachievers, right, people who don't necessarily understand that can paint whatever picture that they want to paint for you in your time in the league. So, for me, I think when you just talk about dudes who get rings, or you just say like, oh, these dudes who got rings are the only ones capable of running teams and things like that, then you really mess up the culture because, as you know, not everybody on the team is qualified and capable. And if they were not, some of them, if they were not on that team, right, they are replaceable. And then it limits the capacity for new rings and new people, right? We have so many great basketball players, great basketball minds in this game that they get underserved, right?
Mm-hmm.
Underappreciated. Their stories are undertold. Their highlights are, undersubscribed to, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like that ring culture it's kind of like a disease because depending on who you are, you can just jump out there and use your decorations and your merit, as something for media or fans to be like, oh, this dude is, not saying you're not an expert because we all experts, but like you can paint whatever narrative you want. And that's what I don't like.
Well, I think ring culture took a big turn and came into play in large part due to the success of the Golden State Warriors.
I agree.
What I would say about what Brian said is this. I think ultimately what Brian was saying is what I took away from it is you get guys like a Stephen A. Here's what I took away from it verbatim. To me, it felt like Stephen A is someone who talks a lot about rings, and you don't know what it takes to win a ring because you've never won a ring and you've never gone through it. And you don't understand because you've never gone through it that sometimes when you get an opportunity to win and you don't kick that door down, it can change everything. And because you don't know how hard it is because you've never gone through it, then you start using it to lessen the greatness of some of the greats. And is having a ring important? Of course. Like, does it add to legacy? Does it stamp legacies? Absolutely. Not going to sit here and act like having rings or a ring don't matter. It does matter. But it doesn't make Barkley less great as he was. It doesn't make Allen Iverson less great than what they were. And I think when people use it, they use it to kind of dim the greatness, dim the light on guys. And that's what I felt like Brown was getting at. Like verbatim, I think, Stephen A. and him been having their thing. And to me, as soon as I heard it, I watched it, I was like, that's what I came away with it. It felt like he's talking directly to Stephen A. and those type of guys. And if you've never done it, you don't know how hard it is. So in turn,
You don't even know how hard it is to try and get there, man.
facts.
There are more great players than great players that won rings.
Yes, 1,000%.
Right? So there are more great players who haven't won rings
Facts.
than the great players that have won rings.
Mhm.
And like that's the way we gotta look at it, is like that's what, like I was looking at Magic, right? You know, I was on a little history of the game site, and I was going through Magic, and I was like, man, Magic had 5.
Mhm.
That means in an entire decade, right? There were only 5 other winners. But Bird had what, 3?
Mhm.
So that leaves 2 for damn near your career, right? You got you got you got a shot at being a champion in 2 of the 10 years that every 10 years you play.
Mhm. That's a fact, though.
That's
That's a fact. Like
wild.
CP and James
That's
Harden,
wild.
if they don't run into us, they probably do win a championship.
Or at least have a chance.
You know? And so sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. But
They
that
do.
don't mean them guys aren't great. And that don't mean
Totally.
Chris Paul not a winner. Chris Paul is a winner. He just couldn't quite. It's so many things that have to go right for you to win a champ. It's not just like, oh, I played good and it's not like objective.
Preach,
like
bro.
It's not an object. It's very subjective. There's so many things that have to fall into place for it to happen. And so to just lessen someone's greatness because of it, I think that's wrong. I'm not saying, again, that having the rings don't matter. It fucking matter. When I walk in a room, I feel great about the 4 rings. It's a different energy. Of course,
it's
right?
a difference. It's a difference.
But that does not lessen someone else's greatness because all of those things then fall in place for them to get the ring. And that's what I took away from it. That's what I felt like Brown was saying.
I hate when they talk about dudes as they get older, right? And as you get older, I didn't get that chance to experience that, but I think as I got older in my career, I would have want to play for championship teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think also like a big thing about the media is that we need to be celebrating these dudes on their way out.
Yeah.
Talking about who they were in their peak, showing the storyline, because obviously, Chris Paul today is definitely not the Chris Paul that I played against, right? And that was like, golly, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you want to watch, you tap it all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Absolutely.
So we got to understand, like, and I would say this happened in the past a lot. We got to appreciate the evolution. And it's like a fine wine.
Yeah.
It's like classic hip hop, right? Like these dudes came into the game as renegade painters, painted their style, and then on their exit, they became more of a more of like capsulizing their masterpiece in different forms.
That's a fact.
Right. And more so like what they leave into the game. So I just don't like that, because it that should be pissing me off. Because you can talk about, you can like, even Oscar Robertson said, Draymond Green just passed the ball to Steph Curry. Like, what pissed me off about that is, like, bro, like, you got to watch the body of work, homie.
Mm-hmm.
You have to watch the body of work, right?
Yep.
Or shut the fuck up, right? Or, and you don't just look at towards the end of somebody's career and say, oh, that is like the way we see them. No, we got to paint the picture of like, this is what they evolved into. This is the artist they evolved into. This is the statue. This is why D-Wade get a statue.
Yep.
Right? Like we got to like start speaking more, in people's like in present day, and not just making like bold and wild ass statements without doing no research. Because then, I feel your sentiment now. Right? I feel your sentiment now, because we got to start highlighting the greatness. That's all. Because the media going to say what the fuck they going to want to say about Draymond, or Draymond is this, or Chris Paul is that, or LeBron is this, or like we got to do KD is this. We got to do a better job of like speaking on their greatness.
That's a fact. Well, one thing's for certain, just because you were a great basketball player don't make you smart, and it don't make you know basketball. So those two things can be mutually exclusive. And I think in that case, it was very mutually
Reporters
exclusive.
too.
So
All
that's
right.
my little single
Big
shot.
news.
That's my little single shot for the day. Just because you were a great basketball player, I see this all the time. I see people say stuff, and I'll be like, somebody going to listen to that because they like, oh, that person was a great basketball player. They know. Listen, a lot of them be dumb too, and that was just a dumb statement, and it showed colors. And I'll leave that at that. So,
and then to bring it full circle, people with rings are the same in the same category.
facts.
So you got to just respect great basketball minds. In big news, Desmond Bane gets
talking about
traded.
BD. I want to move on to that too, but I got something for you. I want to go ahead real quick with that. All right, so to your point on as you age in this, and it's like this in sports, but I'm gonna tell you where else is prevalent like this. People don't allow athletes to age and appreciate, to your point, appreciate what they've done. They try to make where they are then all of what they've done. You know where else that happened at, and I hate it, and I think it actually ruins the industry in a major way because you're not allowed, the industry essentially ends up always starting over because you don't allow the greats to age and like appreciate just the age and process of it.
Right.
You want to always take it back to where it was. You know the other industry that's like that?
Music.
Bingo.
Rap.
Bingo.
Rap.
Bingo.
All day.
There's no OG game in the rap game because we kick all the OGs out. And it's the same thing that's happened in basketball. As media has grown more prevalent in basketball and has gotten bigger and bigger, it's the same exact thing that happens in basketball and in sports in general, but really in basketball, and it's sad.
It's like, do you want an influencer taking pictures at a basketball game, courtside, talking about they got floor seats, and you got a fucking legend sitting at home that you can tell a story around? But I mean, rap is the same way. Like people, rap is now down to like 30 seconds. If you can have a 30-second hit, you can make a lot of money as a rapper, and that can be it. So one hit wonders, 8 seconds of fame, social media, who gives a fuck?
I agree 100%, bro.
Who's on, and social media people are sitting, and not all of them. Some of them are are very cool and entertaining and have talent and personalities. But I want to see legends. That's another problem with the All-Star game. Put all the legends. Man, fill up the first 3 rows with any legend who want to come to the All-Star game and watch the energy be crazy in the building. Watch your favorite star who comes at every All-Star weekend, sits on the floor. Watch how that person turns into a kid.
Yeah. That's when the All-Star game was great.
That's when it was great, bro. When it was a family reunion.
It's too corporate now.
Right? When it felt like a family reunion. And to your point, the same thing in rap. But I think for rap has its ebbs and flows, and rap is coming back. But there is not a great appreciation for OGs. I don't know what it is. It's a cultural thing or it's a corporate thing, but the stories are getting lost. And so talent is getting underdeveloped, right? And so when you do actually have someone that's talent, they're getting overexposed. And by the time they get there, it's like, damn, they corny as shit, or like they stale, right? And so we just kind of like creating more carbon copies to like what our essence is. That's a big part of my album. Bart Oatmeal live from the swap meet coming soon.
Let's get it. Bart Oatmeal back in the booth.
I got the album dropping. Dre, it's all about that.
Let's get it.
I'm going to send it to you. All right, big news. Desmond Bane gets traded to the Orlando Magic for KCP, Cole Anthony, 4 unprotected first-round picks and a pick swap. What do you think about the Magic move? And how does Bane fit with the current Magic team? Okay, potential lineup: Suggs, Bane, Paolo, Franz, Wagner, and Carter Jr.
Oh, um,
That's did somebody get fleeced?
4 unprotected first round picks and a pick swap. That's a lot.
That's wild. That's wild.
So when I saw the trade, I was like, man,
no way.
that's a lot. And I like Bane.
Yeah.
That's a lot. And then I saw what Orlando's general manager said. I saw a quote he made. And it made complete sense to me why they would make that deal.
Yeah.
He said something along the lines of, if you went into a lab and created a basketball player, you go into the lab and create Desmond Bane. And I said, oh, okay. That's why he gave up so much. All right, cool. Well, the reality is, I think Desmond Bane's done great. I think he's a very good player. But if I go in the lab and create a basketball player, I'm going to create Kevin Durant or LeBron James or like a 6'6" dude with Steph Curry's jump shot. Desmond Bane is 6'5" with a 6'4" wingspan or 6'2" wingspan or something of that nature. I'm not going in the lab and creating Desmond Bane. No, with all due respect to Desmond Bane, I'm not going to create a basketball player with short arms. So when he said that, those are the things that went in my mind. Like, wait, he got short arms. You're going to go create a basketball player with short arms? I don't quite understand that. And so I was a bit surprised by the statement, but I understood what he was trying to get at. Like, Bane played both sides of the ball, but like, you got to find a better way to articulate that. You can't like be like, you go in the lab when you go create a player when you go create a player on 2K, you ain't creating Desmond Bane size. You creating like 6'9", 6'10" with a handle and shoot. You're not creating Desmond Bane, but it made complete sense to me on why they made that move. And I'll take it a step further. I don't know this to be factual. This is just my guess. My guess is they've been looking for a point guard. My guess is they called on Ja, and Memphis somehow formed it and curved the ball back around, and it was Desmond Bane in the trade. 4 first-round picks and an unprotected pick swap is insane. So it's obviously a move that says they believe in Paolo, they believe in Franz Wagner, and we're going to put someone around them, some shooting that can add, you know what I'm saying, that can take some pressure off of them.
Bane is nice stuff.
You know, he
Bane
can play.
Nice.
And he more than just a shooter. Like, he can get to a bucket, you know, and so
yeah, he a bucket.
That move, what the move signals to me is that they believe in those guys and they want to try to go for it with those guys. And also what that move says to me is, which I agree with, they think the league is wide open. And right now is to take your shot. I just don't know if that's the shot I would have taken with 4 first-round picks, unprotected, and a pick swap. I'm not sure that's the shot I would have taken. Just, it seems like a lot. But I do understand where they're at. I understand what they're doing, what their thinking is. And I respect anybody who's willing to go for it.
All right, where does the Bane trade leave the Memphis Grizzlies?
I think it leaves Memphis sort of in the same position that they were in. Not that Desmond Bane is just easy replaceable, but they still got Jaren. They still got Jaren. They still got Ja. They got a young Zach Edey. They got a young Jalen Wells. They got a young G.G. Jackson. They got a young Scottie Pippen. So I think it leaves them like, again, I always say this. I don't think, and I try to tell people this, all organizations ain't trying to win championships. Here they are. That's essentially a shred salary cap move for Memphis. Take all the picks back, shred some salary cap, see what we can do with these young guys. But if we can't really, and it don't matter, we got all these picks for the future, right? That's a salary cap move. So where does it leave them? I think it should be clear as day to Ja. You got to understand how this business works. Clear as day is that organization really trying to win a championship? When I see the move, I say, no, you're worried about other things and you're pulling away, but y'all just pulling back the taxes. Y'all pulling back, y'all don't want to get the tax. So you let, but this has been a thing with them. This has been a thing with Memphis. They've been doing it over and over again. They had a team where it seemed like they had a chance. They sent DeAnthony Melton away to Philly. They let Kyle Anderson walk. Right? Now you fast forward, it's Bane. So this is a thing for them. I think they're a team that don't want to get to the tax, and they make moves based on that. That's why I think this leads to Memphis Grizzlies.
All right. There's been also, I would say, a lot of sayings or a lot of chatter about Memphis players being reluctant to play in Memphis because it's a dangerous place to live. Do you think that also adds to it? I think Memphis is a great place. I think that we should be, one, trying to uplift and highlight like all the positive things. And so when you hear statements like that from people, like they don't necessarily be tapped in, right? And I don't like statements like that because it undermines, the goodness, the positivity, the true essence of, a city that needs to be uplifted. You watching First 48 and shit like that, and then you making assessments off that. That's television. That's entertainment, right? We talking about people who blood, sweat, and tears, come to support, the Grizzlies, right?
Yep.
We're talking about people who, support kids and Memphis basketball on all levels, the work, Penny doing. So you can't, it's just Buster comments. I mean,
I got a lot of love for the city of Memphis. I got people from Memphis too. People from Memphis has always shown me love. Even they staff, when we in their building, they show love. Everybody in Memphis has always shown love. So, and I was about to go to Memphis 2 years ago, so I wholeheartedly disagree. Because the last thing that was on my mind was, this is a dangerous place to live, I can't go. Every city in the world has a dangerous part. Every city in the world has a dangerous part to it. So
yeah,
I'm not going to sit here and single out that city and be like, yo, a player can't go to that city because it's too dangerous. Come on, man.
That's a wild statement.
There's a dangerous part of Los Angeles. There's a dangerous part of Detroit. There's a dangerous part of Miami. There's a dangerous part of New York. There's a dangerous part of Dallas. There's a dangerous part of Houston. There's a dangerous part of Indianapolis. There's a dangerous part of Charlotte, Philly,
Boston.
You name it. There's a dangerous part of every city. So to single out that city, that franchise, and try to make it like nobody want to go there because that place is dangerous, don't do that to that city. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. Like I said, I was about to go there 2 years ago, and the last thing that was on my mind was, I'm not going to go play with that team because that's dangerous.
This is hoop. This is hoop.
We're here to play basketball.
This is hoop.
Raise our family.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And be great pillars in the community, man.
How can I help that community?
Off.
Stop it, man. That's whack to me.
We should have caught that one, buzz off or something like that. All right, so the Lakers just sold for $10 billion. That's not a basketball team, bro. That's like Apple stock. Damn. $10 billion. Shout out to the Lakers, LA, home team. Damn. I need a job, Lakers. Ooh. Shit. He just sold a freaking boy in.
You better chill out before Steve Ballmer don't give you no tickets next year.
Oh man, that's I ride with the Clippers.
I know you do ride for the Clippers.
I ride with the Clippers. I ride. Lakers is people got tattoos of Lakers out here.
It's a Laker town.
Lakers is my childhood, bro. You ain't gonna take my childhood.
No, the Lakers gonna always
just because I got played.
Yeah, LA gonna always be a Laker town. That's a fact. It always be a Laker town. But
the Clippers got space. Don't get that twisted. The Clippers got the new energy. They got new legacy, and so
Yeah, they got
Clippers
new energy.
they
They
got
ain't got
All-Star
legacy.
Weekend.
Ain't no
Clippers
legacy there,
rocking.
chat. They trying to
No,
build it, but
you
ain't no
gotta
legacy there.
you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
Draymond
Oh
Green,
yeah, but you said they
good
got legacy,
man,
and I disagree.
golly. Yeah, you gotta build something up.
All right, so then they're building it, but they don't
Or
have
pedigree.
legacy.
They got pedigree. They got something. They got pedigree. Like they're building a pedigree. They're building an essence. They're building a chance to break down the wall to get to the championship.
Yeah, but they ain't got legacy.
You are you're speaking from entitlement and a position of privilege.
What's the privilege?
That is your only.
What is the entitlement and where's the privilege?
Because
because I'm a champion, I earned that. So it can't be an entitlement, and it definitely can't be a privilege because I wouldn't have took that.
No, you earned
privilege
it,
is
right.
like, yo, somebody gave you something, and that's your privilege. I took the ability to be able to say that.
Okay, you did, yes. But
and they ain't got no legacy.
From the Warriors' perspective,
you saw how Staples looked when the Clippers was playing and when the Lakers was playing. BD, they put posters over the banners. They ain't had. Come on, BD.
Okay, but what I'm saying, you trying to build pedigree. You trying to build
of players over the banners, BD. Posters of players, BD. You gonna tell me they got legacy?
You have to. They're building. I said they're building a legacy.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Right? They have some legacy players, like players that people identify with in LA that have been like, yo, I grew up watching Blake Griffin. I grew up watching Chris Paul. I grew up watching Jamal Crawford. So that those so what I'm saying is the imprint on the city, they got an opportunity. Not saying that they got a legacy of winning championships, but until you win a championship, you got to have the vision, the momentum, and somebody that's saying like, hey, I'm in this shit to win a championship. Like if you didn't have the Lakers as owners and you had our same owners, you would not win a championship, bro.
I can agree with that.
Yes. So it has to be, okay, when they got there, they're like, yo, we're going to start building legacy. We're going to start or building a pedigree or a system.
For sure. But
that's all I'm saying.
For sure.
Shout out to the Clippers, All-Star Weekend. Into it, dog.
Hey, but I'll tell you this though, BD. And speaking of that, and ownership, right? And the Lakers, like I never had the previous regime, so I can't speak to them. But I do know the impact that our ownership group has had on our organization. I can't argue that. And speaking of ownership, when you talk about teams selling for $10 billion and the hands that it went into, and Mark Walter.
Come on, man.
I think. When I look at this move and the Lakers selling for $10 billion to Mark Walter, you know what I say? I said, "Ooh, man, that makes the Lakers dangerous because
pedigree.
Here's why it makes them dangerous, BD. The only thing ever stopping the Lakers was that. Take this with a grain of salt because they got way more than most, way more than me, and they're just a lot of people." But by terms of NBA ownership standards, Jeannie Buss and the Buss family were one of the least wealthiest families as far as money goes. They had the big asset in which they just sold, but that's kind of the source of their income. And so,
big.
And so when that is the source of your income, you're gonna run it a little differently. You're gonna be more mindful. What this does is. The Lakers in 2020, only a couple teams made money that year. If you remember COVID, all the stuff, only a couple teams made. The Lakers made a bunch of money. And due to the Lakers' regional TV deal is insane. They get so much money from their regional TV deal, meaning their Spectrum deal. And so that puts them in a position to still profit, even when people couldn't get in the stands. It was either 2020 or 2021. I could be confusing the years where nobody make no money, but the Lakers did. And in large part due to their regional TV deal. So now you got an owner with the deep pockets. He gonna say, well, no, I don't need that money. Take all of that money and put it back into the team and go get me this guy and go get me that guy. And let's do whatever we want to do with this roster. We'll pay the tax. We'll do this. And so I think with getting this new ownership group, it makes the Lakers so dangerous because now not only are they are they one of the most recognizable franchises in the history of sports, but now they got the pockets to match and act like that.
They got the what?
And that's dangerous, man. That is dangerous.
Well, I think it's another thing. I think it's another thing. Okay, look at the greatest baseball team right now.
The Dodgers.
Right, the Dodgers.
Who own that team?
Man. Thank you. Same person.
I'm telling
and
you,
then,
man. Watch out.
So for the Dodgers, right? Legacy, pedigree, culture. Man, that's baked in the DNA. When them players run out, man, they running out for legacy, pedigree, culture. When the fans show up, legacy, pedigree, culture. Old school dudes come back. Old school players come back. It is really like they run it like a family organization with deep roots in the culture, in the legacy, in the former players. And then on top of that, man, they not playing around. They trying to win. And so looking at the Lakers, it's like, man, you're going to see Robert Ory's. You're going to see, the Byron Scotts, the James Worthies around, like even more.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because they know how to capture LA. And to your point, like the Lakers, I would say, has been falling off.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers going to always be the Lakers, but, just like the essence has been falling off. You got a bubble title over the last, 10 years?
15, because Kobe's last one was in 2010.
So all you got is a bubble title, right? You got a title in the bubble. And ever since then, you just been, you ain't figured it out yet.
Mm-hmm.
So now you got some stability. You're going to have some more incredible, like it's just going to upgrade the basketball culture and like the winning culture and the winning pedigree and the care about winning. Like it ain't going to be a bunch of shenanigans. There's going to be some people getting up out of there,
mm-hmm.
right? And they going to figure out, okay, this is how we going to start. And this is how we going to get to where we need to get to. And money ain't going to be a problem. I mean, you see what the Dodgers is doing. Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Smith. Man, we loaded.
Yeah. The pitcher who just came over, I'm drawing a blank on his name, Japanese pitcher, the other Japanese pitcher that just came over last year.
Who is that, Kim?
Nope. His name is, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. As you know, I am a Yankee fan.
Oh, the new dude.
His name is,
Are you a Yankee fan, dog?
Yeah, you better know it. Let me see.
I'm going to tell you. Give me.
Yeah, Yamamoto.
Yeah. Yosh. Yeah. Yamamoto.
Right. So you got, they doing it. And you can't defer contracts like that in the NBA, so they can't necessarily take that approach, but they telling you, we got the pockets.
You never know.
We got the pockets.
You never know. Yeah, they got the sophistication and the pockets.
Yes, they do.
You never know. And they going to put that, the thing is, the Lakers miss Jerry West so much, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of teams do. You need basketball legacy or basketball intelligence and you need that old school vibe, right? Because it's at the end of the day, basketball is an old school sport.
It's a fact, man.
Damn, 10 bill though.
That's crazy. Yeah, man.
Come on, man. We need an investment in the Draymond Green with Baron Davis show. If they handing out that, they gonna shit. We can cover the games.
Man, that part. Listen.
We can cover the games right here.
$10 billion.
God damn. That's wild. I mean, the Warriors in a good position. The Warriors in a great position. I mean, the New York Knicks in a great position. It's a great position for the league. Man, I'm just excited, man. I'm excited for this Game 7. You got Indiana?
I'm rolling with Indiana.
Me too.
We shall see if we right or if they right. But until next time, that's a wrap from this episode of the Draymond Green Show with Baron Davis. It's great to have you back, my brother. Always
Appreciate you, bro.
Great to chop it up, banter a little bit, get your perspective, which is always a unique one. And listen,
my dog.
Congratulations to Mark Walter. That's incredible. And also congratulations to Mark Lore and Alex Rodriguez. I think they are finally at that point where they're like it's stepped where it's actually Minnesota is all there. So congratulations to those guys. Incredible to see what they've done. A-Rod as a former athlete. Excuse me, as an athlete. Once you're an athlete, always an athlete.
Always.
But to do that, amazing. So congrats to those guys. Job well done. Until next time we talk to y'all, there will be a champion crowned in the NBA. There will be a new champion, a bunch of new champions crowned in the NBA. We shall see who it is. Till next time. Peace.